I did have a question today.
Yeah.
Is nutting in your mouth ethically wrong?
Is
What do you
nothing in
mean?
my mouth?
Is nutting in your own mouth ethically wrong?
Oh my god.
No.
No?
I mean, not really. I mean, it depends on
Ethically?
your ethics, right? So if you're like
Yeah, your own
mega
morals.
religious, then it's like, wasting.
Wasting seed, yeah.
Yeah. So teach their own, I guess. I mean,
Matt?
Just 'cause
Morals
you-
are the values.
just
Ethics
because-
are your values in action.
What?
say that again.
So
Somebody paid attention.
morals are your values without action. Ethics are values in action. So something to be unethical, it's an unmoral act. It's an act that is immoral.
Is nutting in your mouth immoral?
It depends on the individual's personal ethics.
In your ethics, what do you think?
So it could be seen as unethical from another person's view, but that's their personal ethics viewing it. For me, nutting in your mouth, I don't know, it kind of grosses me out. I don't really have a moral or immoral, unethical or ethical stance against it or for it.
Like, are there varying
Gross.
degrees, right? So it's like, it's not like absolutely
Like,
wrong,
wait,
but
hold
it's
up.
kind of wrong.
Like varying degrees of nutting in your mouth?
No, varying degrees of
you get like a
of-
little
of-
like half the load.
No, because if you get a lot, then that's just impressive. But
We allowed to talk about this on Steam, Jeremy,
On Steam?
or on Twitch.
I don't know, probably not.
is this TOS? This is
Okay, 'cause
probably-
we're live.
Speaking of which, hey guys, welcome back to the Not Important Gaming Podcast with Jeremy.
I
Reed,
asked
and
my
Matt.
parents to watch this show.
I don't know why the fuck you did that. That's an
I mean,
awful idea.
Not this week, thank God. Listen, I don't think they were gonna watch it anyway.
No, believe me, I'm aware that when I tell my parents, hey, I do a weekly gaming podcast, like I can see the deep-seated cringe.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's wonderful. I'm glad you're doing what makes you happy.
Yeah, just whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. But yeah, hey guys. Podcast. We have we're the Not Important Gaming Podcast with Jeremy, Reed, and Matt.
What it is, what it do.
I'm your host, as
Yeah.
always, Jeremy, and with me are my co-hosts, Reed and Matt. And this week, wow, it's not as crazy as a week of last week. Like last week was a shit show, but this week is a slightly less of a shit show. We're gonna be talking about the Fallout 76, Fallout First debacle, because Bethesda just cannot stop shooting themselves in the foot.
Plus, you love talking shit about Fallout.
I have feelings and opinions.
Everyone has feelings and opinions, Reed. The difference is mine matter.
Yeah, but he looks better when he says them.
That's true. You do look better when you say them, though, Reed.
You're a handsome man, Reed.
You're a beautiful man.
Aw.
And we're
Well, that's
also going to be talking.
That's the correct pronoun.
We're also going to be talking about the UK not the UK gambling business, the UK Children's Commission, trying to get loot boxes classified as gambling. So let's get right into it with something smaller. The Last of Us Part 2. We'll start off with some bad news. I'm feeling sad. Are you boys feeling sad?
No, I feel pretty good.
Oh yeah, I feel okay.
It's time to feel sad because The Last of Us Part 2 is getting delayed until May 2020.
That's not that bad though, right? That means they're gonna take their time, and it gives me time to play the first one.
That's true. That's right. You still haven't played Fallout, or not Fallout. The Last of Us. You believe me? You played enough fucking Fallout.
I could play more.
You played enough. You've hit the peak. You played enough. Do we have here what the original release date was slated to be?
I don't know if they ever announced an original release date.
I believe it was April, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, didn't they announce it at the end of that trailer?
Yeah.
Somebody look it up.
Reed, you want to do it since you have a free hand?
Nope.
No.
I will do
All right.
it.
Which trailer is it? Sorry.
It's their most recent trailer.
Okay.
No, I'm doing it.
That's you guys both gonna put it on it.
It was originally slated for February 1st, 2020.
February. That sounds right. February 1st. Which was a decent release date, but yeah, no, you're right. It's.
Oh wait, what is the delay then? What? Because that said it was updated just 2 days ago. What the fuck? Something smells funky in Delaware.
What? What the fuck does that mean?
I'm gonna investigate. Continue.
Okay. But yeah, you're right though, Raid. It's probably a good thing that it's getting delayed. But much like Doom Eternal getting delayed, the part of me that wants The Last of Us is sad, and the part of me that wants a good game is happy.
Yeah. Wait, hold on, Jeremy. Sorry, my microphone guy keeps putting the boom in my face.
Yep. I like the idea that
dude, enough. Okay, I get it.
You're gonna have like your Christian Bale moment. Holy shit!
He thinks it's funny. He like keeps trying to like hit me in the nose with it.
That just like really dated me, actually. Bringing up,
it's actually being delayed till.
It's being delayed till what?
Spring.
Spring
is what we got.
Okay. Well, spring.
I agree with you, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, it's probably a good thing. It's it just makes me sad because I want more of The Last of Us. The Last of Us is a really, really good game.
Yeah, it is.
It is, but
get over it.
Being honest about it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, God, what was that game that just could never get their shit together? It was the one where you fly around shooting people.
What?
The one that just,
Superman.
The one that recently like stopped getting support. It was through yeah, it's a multiplayer. It's like battle royale, but you're flying. Anthem. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anthem.
That was not a battle royale.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. Well, yeah. So like, what if? I mean, that's what they should have done. They should have just said, "Hey, we'll delay until it's right." But you know,
the problem is delay is not in EA's vocabulary.
Oh no, push, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so we got a delay. In better news, more interesting news, Conan O'Brien is in Death Stranding. We have a YouTube video here to throw out for you guys. 59-second video. So let's go ahead and have a look at
the announcement trailer.
I guess Conan's not so bad.
I like Conan. Here we go. Display capture.
Getting some weird glitchiness with your mic, Matt.
Yep.
Well, thanks for making
You are?
the trip. I've always wanted to
Yes, you can hear it on the stream.
I know what you're thinking. Is that an otter on my head, or am I just happy to see you? Well, both. Actually, the otter's a member of the weasel family. I have weasels in my family, but enough about my brother.
That's so fucking bad.
By the way, that hood was threaded by the hand of my cosmic partner. And she's amazing. It's triple stitched. That's got silk. She's incredible. Wear it and you too can ride the river rapids without fear. Unless you're afraid of looking too sexy.
I love this. Have you seen like the memes about that hat?
No.
Coming out? Yeah, no, the Metal Gear and the Death Stranding community are both going nuts about this because this will now be the third game that Kojima's released that has like a goofy hat lately that makes you look ridiculous and does stuff for you. Because the crocodile hat in Metal Gear Solid 3, I believe it helped you with stealth. It gave you like a much higher stealth rating than you should have.
Yeah.
The chicken hat made you in Metal Gear Solid 5 made you invisible to enemies unless you were like right up on their face. And this one now allows you to float in rivers.
I see.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of like memes of like me and the boys after getting done shopping and stuff like that.
I feel like that's like almost like social commentary, right? Where it's saying like, what will people be willing to do for not a lot of benefit, or I mean for like a little bit of benefit, you know what I mean? What sort of ridiculous stuff will people?
Yeah, I've always kind of felt like that was the point, was the all right, yeah, you want the easy way out, that's fine, but you're gonna look like an idiot doing it.
I'm watching you run away from this
how's my mic
lady
now?
of the
How's it
water.
sound?
Fantastic.
Sounds great. You look great
You know,
too,
it
Matt.
almost
Don't
yeah.
pat,
Hey,
Matt.
don't pat, Matt. She's back. She's murdering you. You're being murdered.
I am being murdered. This game's really great. I really like it. But moving on. Let's talk about Reed.
Sorry, I'm
Reed is transfixed by this. You're gonna love.
What's happening?
I'm being drowned. Well, I've been drowned.
Yep.
I don't like it.
Go into the water. Live there. Die there. A little reference for all you metalheads out there.
I appreciate it. It's a good reference.
It's gonna give me nightmares.
Reed nightmares.
Yeah, you know, like they say, it's what they call it in the movie Young Frankenstein. Nightmares.
Mm-hmm. Feedback is back, by the way.
Yes, I'm not sure why.
On your mic.
But we're gonna go ahead and move on because I'm getting distracted by Reed getting distracted.
Yep. Yes, go ahead.
Discount retailer Five Below to open esports gaming centers in stores with high-end gaming PCs and affordable pay-as-you-go rates.
This looks kind of cool, right?
Yeah. This information is coming at us from The Inquirer. Author Bob Fernandez, updated as of October 10th, 2019. The article reads as follows. Trendy Philadelphia retailer Five Below expects to have a new attraction in some of its stores by this time next year, esports gaming centers. The esports pilot will begin small, several stores in 2020, but with the potential for Five Below to expand their numbers if the concept is popular. To do it, Five Below is partnering with Nerd Street Gamers in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia-based developer of training and competition facilities for esports. Five Below CEO Joel Anderson said Thursday that there are about 100 Five Below stores with excess space for the 3,000 square foot centers with 30 to 50 personal computers for video gaming. A traditional Five Below store has 8,500 square feet. The chain with 750 stores and $1.6 billion in revenue in 2018 targets teen and tween shoppers and even younger ones. One of the featured products in the website on Wednesdays was the Toilet Time golf game for $5. My question off the bat is, what do they mean by like an esports center? Is it just like you could go in and like you and like 10 of your buddies and have like a league game, or like if there's like a local league or something, you can go play Counter-Strike?
Maybe there's like a third-party tournaments that are trying to set up stuff.
That's entirely possible, yeah. I just think.
What if they're going to
there's
start doing like city youth leagues?
There's a
like
related
for soccer
story
and stuff.
Well, that's definitely
about a guy named Jimmy Thousands who hosts underground video game tournaments, and it draws a lot of people. So I think that most of what he does is like Madden and shit. Maybe Fortnite. Let me look.
That's cool.
Do you think that might be what they're trying to tap, like the market that they're trying to tap into?
It's possibility. I mean, I think if they can get people regularly coming, like this guy regularly has people showing up to his tournaments. I don't know. That maybe that's a huge draw.
Yeah, it definitely could be. My big thing is, I guess, like there's already like this is already a thing online. Because there are already like online leagues that you can join that are not like major, like large scale leagues. They're just like, you know, like either pickup games, or they're you know, like smaller scale. Like Reed, you're in a smaller league, right?
Yeah, about I want to say 400 players, maybe.
Yeah, so you're not playing like
across all the different regions. So something like that.
Yeah, so you're not playing in like the big like you're not playing in the invitational
Or international?
the international.
No, God, no.
But
That's like,
but you are playing at least. So I guess like my thing is this market's
Yeah.
kind of already been tapped, at least in terms of like the games that
I think
have
it's
active
just. I think it's just really starting to get tapped. I think that there's a lot of people out there that enjoy games, but have no further place to take it other than whatever the game's built-in progression systems are. So like in a lot of games, there's like a rank. You know what I mean?
right.
People play like that, but I mean, like trying to so playing on a team is like a whole different. I mean, it's if you want to get a lot more out of the game, or if you want to like really get a whole new experience out of it. And it's been super great. It's not only a great way to improve how good you are at the game, it's a great way to make friends and other connections who have that shared interest. But also, it's a you get to see what a lot of team like on like team based games like Dota, League, CS:GO, even team based battle royales. Playing professionally with a team is so much different than just playing casually with a bunch of friends.
For sure.
Yeah, so it's a really great way to expand that type of team play.
Yeah, no, definitely. Matt, what's your opinion on this?
I think it's good. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't see what like expanding the community of gamers would be a bad thing unless it's a like some sort of like evil profit scheme thing. But I don't know. I think that
Mhm.
back before everybody had computers and internet and stuff like that, there was like PC gaming centers that you could go to in the town that I'm from, and you paid $5 an hour to play multiplayer computer games with just random people that are there in the gaming center, and that was the only like way for a lot of people to play multiplayer PC games or any multiplayer game in general because consoles didn't have multiplayer back then either.
Mhm.
So I could see the draw, and they did pretty well. It went away as people started to get as internet expanded to like rural communities and throughout the cities, and that's back during dial-up. But still, like I could
Mhm.
eventually play like Quake and Unreal Tournament and Command and Conquer with my friends from my home. Where before I would have to go to town to this gaming center and pay $5 an hour to play Command and Conquer, Red Alert, and Quake and different games with other
Mhm.
people. So I think there was a draw for it for sure, and I think esports offering like a competitive like parents want to get their kids into sports, but the kid's not into soccer, the kid's not into wrestling, they're not into like physical sports, but they're into computer games. Well, how do you get your kid out of the house and being a more social person? Well, you don't want to. I mean, do you want to take random chances with them playing online? You know, some parents are really against that, but you set up an esports center, and you've got these youth esports leagues in your city now that maybe get set up, and it's an environment where the parents know that the children that their kids are playing with and competing with, they know who they are. There's less risk for like.
But do they?
stuff.
I mean, aren't people in real life more dangerous than people online?
I'm talking about like cohort like age stuff, like other kids that are into gaming too. So it helps introduce them to like local kids that are also into like competitive gaming at a young age.
Fair enough. I mean,
You know?
if you know, we're starting to see this in the day and age where it's like people are raising their kids to be professional gamers. That's
Yeah,
now
like-
a thing. So
Almost like I don't know. Did Shroud get raised that way, or was it just accidental?
it was kind of accidental. His dad was just a very big gamer, and so Shroud just started playing from a really young age. And some
Gotcha.
parents are doing that.
Yep.
So
That's really cool.
Hey, I was about to ask you to fix your mic again, but it sounds like.
but now you sound perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I think it's honestly internet based. What's happening
It
with
might
your
be.
mic?
I've been hearing a little bit from Jeremy too.
Yeah, when you just keep an eye on the left side where it says video connected, just keep an eye if that gets bad, maybe disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah. Anyway, but let's go ahead and move on to our last like.
But don't voice, Matt.
Don't voice, Matt. Let's go ahead and move on to our last like smaller piece of news here, which is that Steam is finally releasing their Steam Remote Play Together function.
Yay!
We got this information from the Steam community blog. So it's introducing a new Steam feature that lets you play your couch co-op games with friends over the internet together. Now in beta, remote play together can now invite Steam friends to join your local co-op, local multiplayer, and shared split screen games online. Up to 4 players, or even more in ideal conditions, can instantly join in the fun. Only the host needs to own and install the game, while additional players connect through Steam Remote Play streaming technology. Here's how it just works. Number 1, launch your game. Join the Steam beta, then launch any of your local multiplayer games. Number 2, invite your friends. From your friends list and in the Steam overlay, select Remote Play Together. Once they accept, 3, you're playing together. Their controllers will act as if they're plugged directly into your computer, and all of your voice chat and game volume options are available in one place. Keep things simple. Only the game is displayed to your friends, never the desktop or other top secret stuff you could share or limit access to. The keyboard and mouse, it's your choice. With Remote Play Together, now you can play local multiplayer games with Steam friends online, stream video, audio input, and voice between players, use your own controllers and share control of the keyboard and mouse, and play together across PC, Mac, and Linux. During the beta, we'll be improving network stability and compatibility across a variety of hardware. We're excited to hear feedback from you in our discussion forums. So check out Steam's growing list of thousands of supported titles, join the beta, and invite a friend to play together today. So, yeah, it looks like a really cool feature. I know we've been talking about this for a couple weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned that you and me, Reed, we had a game that we wanted to play together.
Wizard of Legend.
Wizard of Legend.
I can finally beat it now with your help.
So, yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff, like utility in this, I think.
How many people can play Wizard of Legend, like,
I think
together?
2. Because it's only supposed to be like couch co-op.
Yeah,
from what I understand.
I didn't realize there were so many games in the Steam library that were local co-op only, though. So much that it requires.
Are there any other notable ones that you could think of?
Not that I know of, but I mean, there must be enough for them to feel that this feature is necessary.
I mean, maybe it's just some simple netcode. I mean, maybe not, but
yeah, but you would think, like, in the age that like online play is such a big function, that they wouldn't feel the need to make something like this. But
yeah, but I feel like I don't know. I'm also interested to see how it'll play out, like, because it's like, will ping and whatnot be a major issue? Video streaming, that sort of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it probably will be, but that's part of them kind of reining it in and getting it all put together. Anyway, yeah, that's all really cool stuff, though. But I think we are going to go ahead and move on to our actual news stories now. We'll start off with something that makes me a little sad. Konami is making a Silent Hill slot machine.
Well, I mean, why this is? I don't know. I've written that off at this point. I've written off Konami at this point.
I mean, yes, but as Silent Hill is Silent Hill 2 is one of my favorite games ever made. So to see this, it's something that I knew was going to happen. They did it to Metal Gear, so I knew that it was going to happen sometime soon. But
is it an actual slot machine, or is it just a pachinko machine?
It's an actual slot machine. As a matter of fact, we have video of them showing it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's its purpose in the game?
It's not in a game. It's an actual slot machine.
It's an actual literal slot machine.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and throw up. They've got this promo video here that's displaying their new line of slot machines. And at the end, you'll see the Silent Hill one. Ah! No!
Silent. Oh, it's like it's got multiple sides on it, so you can do it with your friends.
I like the music.
Makes gambling seem fun.
I think it's hilarious that you guys like the music. I'll explain in a second.
Makes me wanna play a slot machine.
I promised myself.
Sleek innovation, powerful merchandising, synergy.
Well, I thought it was. I think it's funny that you guys like the music, because I just watched a video the other day about like how corporate music is made. And that like hit every keynote of like a corporate music that's not intended to make you feel anything.
I see. Like, I don't know. It just spoke to me, you know.
Yeah, it was energetic, had a groove.
You know?
So we have this article here discussing it. Silent Hill will continue on in the slot machine form from Polygon. Author Michael McWherter. And the article reads, the gambling division at Konami has toyed with hundreds of themes for gambling machines over the years, including slots based on its own franchises like Castlevania, Contra, and Frogger. Silent Hill is simply the next Konami property being leveraged for gambling purposes. And why not? Who wouldn't be drawn to the prospect of big Pyramid Head payouts?
That's something that I don't want.
Yeah.
Big Pyramid Head payouts.
This is so fucking skeezy. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the fact that it's being done to my baby.
I don't want it.
I don't
need it.
Are there other video game slot machines?
Yes. As a matter of fact, immediately after firing Hideo Kojima, they made
a Metal Gear Solid slot.
They made a
pachinko machine.
Metal Gear Solid pachinko machine with completely remastered cutscenes from Metal Gear Solid 3.
How'd that make you feel, Jeremy?
I know you think you've seen me angry before, Matt. I know you think you've seen me mad. You've never seen me that angry. Ever.
What's your most beloved franchise, Matt?
Ooh, that's tough, dude. For video games, I'm not sure. Let me think about it. Not sure. Because there are a couple of favorites. Like the Command and Conquer franchise, like because it was like the first RTS that I ever played, and it was the first one of the first multiplayer games that I was ever able to play with friends. So it's nostalgic to me because it brought out Command and Conquer Red Alert and all that stuff.
Well, they've already done this to Command and Conquer. They didn't make a pachinko machine, but they made a shitty mobile game. But imagine if they fired the head developer, like the marquee, like the guy who made Command and Conquer, and then immediately turned around and were like, "Oh, we're also making a slot machine based off Command and Conquer." Spin now to get the Tiberium jackpot.
I don't think it bothered me.
Bothered the absolute shit out of me.
But it's because I don't care if they make a slot machine out of it. I mean, because I don't.
Okay, correction.
I don't play slot machines.
Correction. Let me put it this way. The head developer was about to make like what he's talking about is going to be like the best version of Command and Conquer he's ever made, the newest game, and it's going to be like the definitive experience. It's going to tie all the loose ends together.
And then they fire him.
And then they fire him. They shit the game.
I'd be upset about that.
They shit the game out half finished, and to add insult to injury, they release a pachinko machine or a slot machine with all of the features that you had been looking forward to in that new game.
Yeah, I'd be upset about like the game release and all that stuff, and him being fired or them being fired. But I don't. The slot machine would just be an added annoyance on top of it all. Like,
yeah,
though, like I don't even know if I would care about the slot machine. It just seemed like they're just really being shitty.
That's it. If it were the slot machine by itself, I would be like, well, that's fucked up, but whatever. But it was that immediately on top of them being like canceling a game that I was so incredibly excited for, or not canceling, shitting out a half-finished version of a game I was so incredibly excited for.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And then having that extra thing was just like insult to injury.
Yeah.
But on the topic
it.
of Konami completely shitting on their
fans,
on their fans and their marquee series, which used to get people super excited, Contra Rogue Core looks like absolute fucking trash.
What is this game even supposed to be?
It looks like, well, here, let me just throw the trailer up on the screen for you guys. Display capture.
Welcome to Damn City.
The game description on Steam just says pre-order to get 2 t-shirt skins for Hungry Beast. It doesn't actually have a game description.
HB is actually a cyborg with a human brain.
But then about this game,
this is Miss Hara here and her alien gut bucket. They survive by merging together
looks
during
very
the wars.
generic.
The gentleman,
Yes, you're right. It fucking does.
The sweetest bug you'll ever meet. And then there's me, Lily. But you can call me Arrow Captain.
It's okay.
what's the game rated?
Teen?
Is it teen?
I don't know.
So they made a generic game for kids. Basically.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's look at the rating. The rating is M for blood and gore, strong language, and violence. Let's look at some of the reviews here.
I wonder if it's functional or what.
Well, I want to start off with the only out of the when you first look at the reviews, there's only one review in sight that's positive, and it's from a Steam user Car Wash saying this is literally PS2 era shovelware, and I'm loving it. So everyone else has already talked about the bad PC port, so let's make it short. This is pretty much a joke. They took Contra and somehow tried to turn it into a loot shooter with way too complicated and cryptic stats, combined with grinding for better gear just after 30 minutes of playtime without any polish or care by the devs about the actual gameplay. And the gameplay is downright bad and boring. This would be bad enough to give this a pass, but the game has problems with resolutions higher than 1080p, is locked at 30 FPS, and still has the same input lag of a quarter second. And that plagued the console demo. It's almost like someone wanted to sabotage this thing. Otherwise, they can't explain this mess.
That's a lot of input lag, dude. It's like, what, 250 milliseconds?
That's literally 250 milliseconds.
Oh, I love this review here. This is long, so I'm just gonna hit a couple of points here. This is a recommended review from the Squadmate. Silent Hill is back. This one must be set on the UFO endings timeline. Summoned here this time are a brain, a caterpillar, a sword stuck in a big mouth, stuck in a blonde, and an innocent guy accused of murder who kills things. Replacing Pyramid Head in this one are camera heads. It's the way they move, truly horrifying, you'll see. It's a direct prequel to the prequel of the prequel to Neo Contra's prequel.
What?
Oh my god. You liked Resident Evil 4 even though it didn't play like a traditional Resident Evil? You liked Resident Evil 7 even... The fuck does traditional even mean at this point? You liked Resident Evil 2 Remake despite it being a traditional non-traditional? You dug Neo Contra style and lighter tone. God Hand was a good game with your kind of humor. Shadow Hearts is a warm place in your heart. You don't think this is the worst looking Contra game because you find none of them really. None of them really even look better than this today, except maybe the ones that doesn't have a Contra in the name. Yeah, that's... Jesus Christ. I love this.
They're asking $40 for that game.
Yeah, it's a shit show. And then, to add insult to injury, and this is not the last...
Wait, $40 for that?
For that fucking shovelware, yes. Lastly, I got one last piece of Konami shit show, with a Castlevania mobile game. Did you guys ask for a Castlevania mobile game?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know why, but here's what it looks like.
Oh, so it looks like all the old ones?
No, it fucking doesn't.
Oh, what?
They're just trying to bait you with that nostalgia. Remember these amazing games that you loved?
Yeah.
Here's a game that looks like shit.
That's a little off. It doesn't look that bad. How much is it? Is it free?
It's a mobile game, so I'm sure it's either... I'm sure it's free with like a freemium model.
If it's a full game that costs $10 or less, I think it's okay. If it's a freemium game, it depends on how it's modeled. If it costs more than $10, you'd have to be into this sort of shit.
Oh.
There's a multi-mode.
Is it out yet?
Worst.
I want to go back.
See, the penguins make it right there.
I just want
We
to...
just ate the batons.
I just want to go back. Ugh.
I don't see it on
Oh, no.
Android Market.
Konami, what the
Maybe it's
fuck?
not out. I don't think it's out yet.
We have this article. Let me see if I can find out some information about it. New Castlevania is a multiplayer mobile game from Polygon, author Michael McWherter. New game in the Castlevania series, Castlevania Grimoire of Souls, is coming to the iOS later this year, Konami announced today. The new Castlevania will include some of the series' most popular characters for a mobile game that focuses on cooperative and competitive multiplayer. Castlevania Grimoire of Souls promises real-time cooperative action according to the game's official website, including a 4-player boss rush mode and 4v4 competitive multiplayer. Players will also be able to pair up protagonists in the Grimoire of Souls, including series newcomers Genya Arakido, a secret government agent, and Lucy, a young researcher and practitioner of the anti-Dracula arts. Also playable from Castlevania series veterans Simon Belmont, Alucard, Charlotte Alwyn, Shanoa, and Maria Renard. The Castlevania series previously flirted with cooperative and competitive multiplayer in the 2010s Castlevania Harmony of Despair, an Xbox Live Arcade game that also featured a greatest hits style of cast of characters. Konami did not announce a release date for the Castlevania Grimoire of Souls, but the company will hold a closed beta test in Japan in the coming months. You can sign up for that at Konami's website. So it's coming for iOS, and it's not available yet.
If anything, this makes me want to play the original Castlevania again.
Yeah, you remember how good that game was? I want to die.
No, Jeremy, it's fine.
Let's talk about... Do we want to talk about loot boxes, or do we want to talk about Fallout 76?
I'm not ready for Fallout yet.
You're not ready? We'll talk about loot boxes then. Buckle up, boys and girls. This is going to get a little bit dry for a second. Because the Children's Commissioner in the UK just recently did a study called Gaming the System, released in October 2019. We'll start off with the summary here, and this will kind of get us into what their general goal was. The overwhelming majority of children, 93% in the UK, play video games. Yet despite its popularity, the culture of gaming, its rules and its rituals, the varying profile of players, the risks they face, tends to be spoken of by adults, whether they be policymakers or parents, as if it were an alien landscape. While children can get great pleasure... I don't know how accurate that is, but... while children can get great pleasure from playing games either alone or with their friends, the widespread popularity of gaming and the evolution of gaming from offline to online has raised a number of concerns, such as children being able to talk to strangers or becoming the target of bullying. Many of these concerns tend to stem from more general concerns about child safety online rather than actual experiences of gaming. There are worries that overexposure to video game content may have a damaging effect on the development and socialization of young people, something compounded by concerns about the length of time children spend playing. A growing concern around the potential for children to be negatively affected by violent imagery and other inappropriate content. The possible link between gaming and gambling and the concurrent risk of addiction is also a source of concern. We spoke to children aged 10 to 16 to better understand what they love and what they dislike about gaming and how gaming could be improved for them. That's the general summary. Based off of that, what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Reed.
I like my gut reaction is to fight back against it because I'm one of those people, but I also totally get. I don't know. I think there needs to be more research and study kind of done because I feel like part of it is untrue because if it's done in the right, if gaming's done in the right way, you make connections and friendships. But I do feel that, I mean, it's like a balance to all things, right? So it's like if somebody plays video games all the time and does nothing but, then I think it could be detrimental, especially if they're only playing especially if they're playing like single player RPGs, especially, and only that, then yeah, they're not interacting with real people.
I don't think that's what the article is saying. I don't think you understood what it was talking about because it openly acknowledges that online gaming does include a lot of socialization.
Mm-hmm. So what was the article saying then? Because I was kind of on the same track as Reed.
The article is more about concerns about child safety, and that the overexposure to video games content may have a damaging effect on the development and socialization of young people.
Okay, well that part's different than safety, right?
What?
That part's different than the safety part, right? When they're talking about safety, are they talking about like child predators, or are they talking about like something else?
They're talking about there's a lot of concerns when it comes to just general socialization. So child predators is one, yes, but they also talk about bullying as an issue. They're just talking about there are concerns about safety when playing online. A degree of safety.
Safety from what?
Well, let's get into the article then, because that's just the summary. That's not even scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, moving on, children say there are benefits to playing online. These can include socializing with their friends, learning new skills, and above all, having fun. In this way, online gaming extends normal play into the digital landscape, and children play by the same social rules that they apply offline. Most online social interactions are with people the children already know outside of online gameplay, such as school friends, and gaming provides a chance to build on these connections. Children choose to play games they know with their excuse me. Children choose to play games they know their friends are playing in order to cement their friendship and bond over a common shared interest. A quote from Lawrence, age 12, a Minecraft player: "If a lot of people like it at school, you think you'll like it as well." In a world where children are less and less likely to be allowed out to play with friends outside of the home, for many children, online gaming and their social lives are closely intertwined. Children consider the shared experience of gaming to be just as important to their friendships as other non-digital experiences. For some children, online gaming provides a social network through which they can also just talk to their friends, regardless of whether or not they're actually playing. From Anna 10, a Roblox player: "I can chat to all my friends when they're not actually with me, or if they just want to tell me stuff in private." So that's the second section. The title is A Forward Play: The Positives to Online Gaming. Any thoughts there, or do you want me to just go on?
Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's all pretty typical stuff.
Moving on to the social harms and the negative experiences of online gaming. However, children also say there are negative aspects to playing online, including feeling frustrated or being teased and bullied by both friends and strangers. Despite the fact that many of the same offline social rules apply to the online world, in some instances, children notice a difference in friends' behavior when playing online games. This was fueled in part by the privacy of headsets and a perceived lack of consequences for teasing or bullying online. Children are scorned in games such as Fortnite if they are seen to wear the default skin, the free avatar they receive at the start of the game. Children say they feel embarrassed if they cannot afford new skins because then their friends see them as poor. From Nina 10, a Fortnite player: "If you're a default skin, people think you're trash." Some children talk about the aggressive and unpleasant behavior they experience from other players, for example, having their work destroyed. From James 12, a Minecraft player, I was annoyed when I spent 6 months building a football stadium and my brother's friend destroyed it. Children also say that they encounter risks from strangers online. For instance, the risk of being scammed for their personal information. For example, on the popular online game Roblox, children reported being offered access to Robux generators by other players to improve their game. In return for personal information or passwords was commonplace. There was a couple of instances in which children had met and formed friendships with online strangers. In these cases, children felt that they had been careful in these interactions, but recognized that forming these sorts of connections with strangers online could be harmful. From Julian 11, a Fortnite player, Julian aged 11, a Fortnite player. I did add this one person who was really nice to me, but he sounded about 17 or 18, and I don't want to meet a 17 or 18-year-old in a park. In most cases, children felt that they had strategies to avoid the worst impacts of negative experiences, including muting other players' microphones or blocking reporting other players. Again from Julian, that's not fair because it's a solo game and it's meant to be every person for themselves, so I reported them. That's the end of the social harms and negative experiences section.
Okay. I mean, so far this kind of seems a bit anecdotal, but it's not entirely inaccurate.
Yep, I agree. Moving on then. Next section is time spent playing games. Younger children reported playing games for an average of 2 to 3 hours a day, whereas older children are playing for 3 or more hours. When asked, some children reported feeling addicted to gaming and do not feel in control of the amount of time they spend playing games. From Nick, age 16, a FIFA player, you don't realize how long you're actually playing for, sometimes it's 5 or 6 hours. The close link between online gaming and their social lives means that in some cases, children feel compelled to play even when it detracts from other activities. Children can think of alternative things to do if they are not able to play online games, however, would also say that they would become frustrated if they could not play for a long period of time. This is kind of the main section that I wanted to focus on, but I wanted to get the whole article, or the whole study, because I thought it was interesting. But this next section is monetization, is where online gaming starts to look less like play and more like gambling. The amount of money children spend on game varies. In some cases, the amount of money children report spending on games has increased annually, with some spending over £300 in 1 year. Peer pressure from friends and online strangers, as well as an influence from famous gaming YouTubers, are all factors that children say lead them feeling pressured to spend money on in-game purchases. Game design also encourages spending in games such as FIFA. Children can either improve by investing significant time to build their squad or spend money in the hopes of quickly advancing their position. The latter option, to spend money in the hopes of progressing, is the most popular option across the sample. With new editions of FIFA being released every year, children feel as though there is an expectation and pressure to buy new players, spend money, and build up their team as quickly as possible. From Tim, age 16, a FIFA player, it takes a long time to get somewhere, so you just do that. Open the player packs is what he's referring to. In some cases, the spending was done in order to receive a collection of unknown rewards, so-called loot boxes. The most obvious example of this is FIFA player packs, which some children acknowledged as being similar to gambling. Again, from Tim, it's like gambling. You could lose your money and not get anyone good, or get someone really good. The lack of guaranteed rewards from these purchases can leave some children feeling as though they have wasted their money. The potential to receive a good reward means that children also feel that they are not in control of their spendings and sometimes try to chase losses. In general, children do not have effective strategies to manage their online spending. From Lee, age 14, a FIFA player, I never get anything out of it, referring to buying packs, but I still do it. From Nick, aged 16, a FIFA player, wow. You feel like it's a waste of money, and then you open more. Last little section here. If gaming is an online extension of children's offline lives, then the rule should be the same. Given that gambling is not allowed in children's offline lives, it's present and their online lives requires close attention. Adults who gamble often tend to have boundaries and control measures in place to mitigate against harm. Children are unlikely to be able to put these in place for themselves if there are concerns around exposure to gambling at an early age offline. Then those same concerns should translate into the online world. The government's proposed duty of care addresses some of the harms revealed in our research, including cyberbullying and violent contact. Underage use is also a problem. However, the white paper refers to this specifically in relation to social media, not gaming, and our research reveals major harms on online gaming platforms, especially financial harms, which are currently not listed as within the scope of the duty of care. Before we move on to what is really like the last section here, which is the proposal for the policy recommendations, what do you guys have to say about that kind of big chunk there? That was a lot of information.
Okay, so one, I totally get the idea, right? If you're on like a Minecraft server and you spend months building something and then there's no like mechanic to roll back any changes, and somebody comes in and they fucking grief shit that you've been working on, it's beyond. I mean, it's just soul crushing sometimes. Then it's like the stuff about like people having basic skins. I don't know. Like part of it I see is issues with how online gaming culture can be. Less so than, I don't think the game is the problem here. It's more of the culture that can sometimes happen. So like if you remember way back in like Modern Warfare 2, those lobbies, because they put everybody back into a lobby at the end of the game and everyone could talk to each other. It was just the worst toxic. I mean, you'd hear, yeah. And then a lot of those people who played in those lobbies went on to be
really good memories for me.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people who play in those lobbies still have that kind of like fucking edge. You know what I mean? I don't know. I maybe there should be an isolated area where only like, I don't know, man. It's tough, right? Like on one hand, it's like, yeah, that really sucks. But the other hand, it's like maybe it's kind of good for kids to kind of deal with some stuff, but some of that stuff is definitely not all right. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But all in all, I think it's a net positive in general. It's just the issues with bullying, which I imagine like.
Well, it's interesting now that you find bullying to be a bigger issue than the gambling issue.
Well, the gambling part is insidious, but I feel like that could be dealt with by the educated parents. You know, that's not, again, it's not the game's fault or the kid's fault. It's a lack of understanding from the parenting side.
Mm-hmm.
It's my take.
Okay, fair enough. Matt, what do you got to say?
I mean, to me, this reads. The whole time you were reading that, and I'm looking through stuff, like I'm comparing it to an adult's experience in the online gaming world.
Yeah.
And adults deal with all of these issues, like the same issues, whether it's, people coming in and wrecking their stuff in Minecraft. So some of these things are just online gaming issues in general to me that could be fixed for everyone. And then the things involving gambling, bullying, people having certain skins or not having certain skins, that's a parenting issue to me. A lot of times people are playing, like kids are playing video games, and this isn't a generalization where I'm saying all kids that are playing video games are like this, but a lot of the time kids are playing video games, parents are glad they're playing them. Or the parents don't even care. Maybe the parents working 2 jobs, they don't get home till 8 o'clock at night. The kid's been home since 3 o'clock since they got out of school, and they just take care of themselves. There's no babysitter because they can't afford it. These kids live in poverty. They splurge to buy a gaming system for online gaming for the kids to play it. So there's a parenting issue at some point where you're allowing your kids into a world where they could interact with anyone. And at some point, there's a level of personal responsibility. There's this issue in society, or this thing in society, where parents send their kids to public school. And when the kid comes home, their parents aren't teaching them anything about life. They're just relying on the school to raise their child, basically. Discipline issues, everything. I read an article from a teacher a couple months ago talking about why she left the public school system, and it was because she said, I'm not getting paid enough to raise these people's children for them. It's my job to educate them on academic matters and to enforce discipline for bad behavior, but it's not my job, and possibly, and tell them why they're being punished and tell them that that's wrong, but it's not my job to raise these children and to teach them right from wrong. Parents are just sending their kids to school and depending on the schools to raise their children, and that's why she left. So listening to a lot of the stuff in this article, I was making a lot of connections with that. I also think that kids under the age of 18 don't belong on the same servers as adults. But to manage that is impossible because you've got parents who are getting their kids a game system or a PC or whatever and letting them buy games that have online play. And when it comes time to put in your age, the parent's not there doing it for them. This isn't true for all kids. Some parents are involved enough to where they are going to make sure that their kid puts in their correct age. They have parental controls on the machines, all that stuff. But a lot of them don't. So to me, this is if you can't make servers just for children to game on to where they don't have to worry about child predators per se, and there's some sort of verification system, I think it's impossible.
Yeah.
So what has to be done is that the parents have to monitor what their kids are doing to make sure that they're in a safe environment when they're online gaming, if they're going to allow online gaming in the home.
Yeah, but
there's
I
no
mean,
other way
like,
to regulate
they
it.
can't
It's
do that all the
impossible.
time, right? Because it's like,
No.
because the parents have shit to do, whether it be just like shit around the house or.
So it's possible that, online gaming is unacceptable for children under the age of 16, 17, or 18,
I would give it a little bit more leeway. I think kids are smarter than we give them credit for.
Some kids.
But that's true. I mean, and that also comes with judgment from the parent. Maybe if they're like 8 or 9 or 10, that's kind of when it starts to become iffy for me. Or it's like maybe around that time, that's when you want to start being around the kids when they first do it. And also, you need to have the conversations with them. Like, hey, if somebody starts bullying you online, what do you do?
How do you deal with a bully in general?
You hunt them down.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's almost an unmanageable issue, in my opinion, unless parents are really like putting in the work to make sure their kids are in a safe environment. I mean, how can you regulate it without people just lying about their age, or bullying happens.
The porn debacle. I've been 18 since I was like 12, 13.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what happens when a kid gets bullied in school, right? It's did somebody witness it? It's so-and-so's word versus so-and-so's word. Who's going to sit down and talk it out with them? It happens online. Somebody gets reported for bullying. Are the people running the servers going to have a little sit down with these kids about bullying? Are they going to contact the parents? Are they going to have to hire a whole department of people to handle bullying between children?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you even deal with that? I don't think it's possible.
Well, I hate to cut you short, but we do need to finish this section, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next section in this, which is the actual policy recommendations that the Children Commissioner of UK is recommending. We'll start off with their limiting the role of money. There's been some action from industry to address harms associated with loot boxes, but these measures do not go far enough. One obstacle in progress in this space is the current legal definition of gambling. Gambling laws need updating to reflect the reality of children's experiences of spending money within games. Number one, financial harm should be specifically listed as within scope of forthcoming online harms legislation. Number two, developers and platforms should not enable children to progress within a game by spending money. Spending should be limited to items which are not linked to performance, e.g. aesthetic items such as new outfits. Number three, all games which allow players to spend money should include features for players to track their historic spend. Number four, Maximum daily spend limits should be introduced in all games which feature in-game spending and turned on by default for children. Number 5, parents should speak to children about the ways in which games companies monetize their products and discuss alternatives if parents and children would like to avoid these aspects of gaming, such as new subscription-based services which have recently come to the market. Number 6, government should take immediate action to amend the definition of gaming in Section 6 of the Gambling Act of 2005 to regulate loot boxes as gambling. And number 7, the government must also undertake a wider review into the current definition of gambling in the Gambling Act to ensure that it accurately reflects new forms of gambling, including those forms found in online games. Next section is helping children to manage their time. Although children rarely say that their only hobby is online gaming, they describe feeling that is an inescapable part of their lives, given how popular it is with their peers, and they sometimes worry about becoming addicted to it. A successful game will make children want to keep playing, but this crosses a line where children feel out of control. Government, regulators, parents, and industry all have a role in helping children to manage their time. Number 8, the final version of the age-appropriate design code must include provisions to nudge techniques and detrimental use of data. The government must ensure that the code is laid before Parliament as a matter of urgency, and the ICO should pay particular attention to games companies and distribution platforms when monitoring compliance. Number 9, games companies and platforms should share aggregated, anonymized data about players with independent research, including average length of time spent on particular games, to facilitate much-needed research into the nature and effects of excessive use. This can be done in a way which is consistent with data protection legislation. And number 10, parents should talk to children about the importance of balancing time online, including on games, with time spent offline, and being mindful of how they spend their time online. The Children's Commissioner's Digital 5 a Day can be used as a tool for facilitating these conversations. We got 2 more sections, but let's stop there and talk about those before we move on to the other 2.
Yeah, I think one, it's such an obvious thing. Changing the definition of gambling. Too much stuff slips through the cracks. Those laws were made long before video games were ever a popular medium.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm just guessing, but I'm assuming it's like in America where those are the laws that have been around for forever, and it really needs to be adjusted. The other part, I think, I don't know. I would love to see a world where we removed microtransactions from games, but I just don't think that's possible. Because then it's like, you know, where you draw the line between like a microtransaction and a full-on DLC transaction. So
I don't think they're calling for the outright banning of.
No, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think anything where you gamble or you buy something without having a known outcome, I think that's the case. Although the Valve, like they did with CS:GO, they're trying to get around that by making it so you can X-ray a loot box before you open it, and the only way to use the X-ray again is to open a loot box. So I think that's kind of like not in the spirit of the law, even though by definition it's like you're paying money for something that you know exists. You know what you're getting. So I think you'd have to allow to cover those situations as well. So.
Okay, well, for me, I agree with you pretty much on all your points, Reed. For me, another way I look at it is that I'm comparing it to a real life shopping mall that you can go to in person, physically go to. At what age is it okay? At what age for a child is it okay to walk around that mall by themselves and buy something? Let's say that kids at school are wearing a new style of shoe that's popular. And they want to go get it, right? Let's say Jordans, yeah, perfect example. So they want to go get it. At what point are the people in the mall that are there shopping seeing, at what age do they notice a child that seems out of place? At what point, like what age group do you start to think, oh, what's that child doing by themselves shopping?
Yeah.
And I think that's the age that maybe we should look at as far as restrictions to buying things online or restrictions to games in general that have loot boxes at all. But the problem is, I mean, in 5th grade, one of my friends brought to school an NWA tape, 5th grade. And, that was like hardcore gangster rap. And we listened to it and we thought it was awesome, but my parents were not happy about it. They didn't want me exposed to that. So, but the point is that his parents bought him that tape because they didn't care. They thought it was fine. So you've got parents. So let's say there's an age restriction on games. Anyone under the age of 16 is not allowed to play a game that has loot boxes or microtransactions at all.
Yeah.
But parents are going to say, "Oh, you like that game? No problem." And they buy it for them and let them play it. So there's no way to truly regulate it, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that's still better than the alternative, though.
No, you're right. But I think that, so you do that, but still there's going to be kids that slip through the cracks because their parents just don't give a crap.
Yep.
Yeah.
But maybe like 16 or something, no games with loot boxes or microtransactions.
Moving on to the last couple of recommendations from the Children's Commissioner, and then we'll move on to another topic. Next section is doing more to ensure content is appropriate. There's no single age rating system for games, and some platforms do not require them at all. Perhaps most worryingly, parents do not seem to take age ratings for games as seriously as they do other age ratings, for example, for films. The age rating systems for online games needs to be overhauled, and parents need to be informed about why it's important. Number 11, games that are distributed online should be subject to a legally enforceable age rating system, just as physical games are. There should be a requirement for an additional warning to be displayed for games which facilitate in-game spending. Number 12, the government should consult on whether all age ratings of all games distributed online should be moderated pre-release, just as physical games are. And number 13, the government and industry do more to raise awareness of the importance of age ratings and parental controls so that parents make greater use of them. And the last section, teaching children to be digital citizens. Online games are places in which children come together and interact with friends and sometimes people they do not know, as well as play the games themselves. Just as in the offline world, children need to be guided in what is acceptable behavior and prepared for social challenges they may face. So too do they need to be guided in the online world too. More needs to be done to prepare children for what they might encounter in online games. Online games should be a key focus of digital citizenship lessons in school rather than lessons focusing exclusively on social media. Teachers involved in the delivery of these lessons. What is digital citizenship lessons?
Well, just talking about like you're being a good citizen of our nation, and saying doing that in the digital space. So digital citizen. Yeah.
All right.
I'm not like. I mean, I that's what I'm guessing. I'm assuming that's what it is. I don't really like that lingo.
Yeah.
Because it really takes the
proper
fun.
Conduct.
But moving on, teachers involved in the delivery of these lessons should be familiar with how online games that are popular with children work. And finally, number 15, children should be prepared for the social aspects of the games they play to increase their resilience and awareness of how their actions may affect others. That's kind of the meat and potatoes. There's some extra stuff that they include here. Oh god, there's actually a shit ton.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes.
I didn't realize this went on this long. But that's the overall
summary. I mean, it's all kind of like really good and really important, but
yes. But it's a lot, and we could make an entire episode out of just this if we really wanted to. And
but then it would be a really long and a really boring episode.
Yes, I'm already starting to get bored of this. So, final statements before we move on, guys. What do you want to say?
I think that just like with anything, we need to have laws that adapt to changing times, and this is just a necessary step that needs to be taken. Yep.
Honestly, I'm happy that this is being brought up. I'm glad that I mean, in all likelihood, by the time this comes to fruition, it'll look completely different from what these recommendations are. But in my opinion, this is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Matt? Oh, who's that ugly motherfucker? Not Matt, zombie.
I mean, yeah. What if like during targeting children before the internet, targeting children during commercials, Saturday cartoons, but the kid's able to put their credit card into the TV and order the toys that are in the commercials in between the cartoons. You know, like it would have been talked about already if that was a thing, but it wasn't back then. So I think this is just something that's maybe been a long time coming. You know, targeting children in marketing.
Yep. Well, I think that's all we're gonna get out of this. Let's go ahead and move on to our next thing. Reed, do you have something for this WWE 2K20?
Oh, let me find a montage. WWE 2K.
While you're doing that,
That was a really good article, though, Jeremy. Good job.
yeah, that's it's a study, and you guys can absolutely check it out. If you look at the Children's Commissioner .gov, you should be able to find the title of that study is called "Gaming the System 2019." I strongly recommend if you're at all interested in the legal aspects of loot boxes and in of socialization of children in the gaming space, you should definitely check it out. That's Gaming the System 2019 from the UK Gambling Commissioner or UK Children's Commissioner. I'm sorry. I'm so used to hearing about the Gambling Commissioner because all of our stories for loot boxes in the UK have been from the Gambling Commissioner.
The UK Children's Gambling Commissioner. Sorry.
Yeah, let's look at something fun for a bit. Let's look at WWE.
Yes, and then while we're looking at it, we can.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Within the first fucking frame, this is already looking wild. Let's throw this up, guys.
And then
It looks broken.
I also meant to put
You're
in
right, it
this
does
link.
look broken.
Look at that fucking problem list, Jeremy.
I can't look at the problem list. You want to throw some at me while we're get this person get sucked into the fucking crowd. Ah!
Yeah.
So
there's a.
I like that they're walking around on their knees.
Oh god, I lost the link. All right, so there's a post, a subtitled post on Reddit r/games titled "WWE 2K20 is an absolute disaster." This game is and this is posted by Dazed Rabbit.
How'd it get released?
Yeah, exactly. This game is an absolute mess. If you've been following along on R Squared Circle or RWWE games, you might already be aware of what the hell is happening. I'll try and link some clips of these in action, volume and language warning from various clips. Here's a list of some of the problems, the game, in no particular order. Every online game begins with maybe a minute of lag. In online tag matches, you get matched with one of your opponents as your partner instead of whoever was shown as your partner. There's now a countdown once the multiplayer lobby is filled, and you only have a limited amount of time to pick your character. It isn't very long, so you basically have to know ahead of time who you're picking. They've removed the following features from online. Entrances. You just don't get entrances. The My Careers, user-created arenas, and the ability to edit match rules. It seems various match modes aren't working. The game can crash if you try to import custom attires from other wrestlers. The entrance music can play for the entire match. Music is incorrectly labeled, like Jeff Hardy's music is listed as Evolution. You can upload images for stuff like custom logos, but you can't actually download them in-game. If you taunt the referee whilst supposed to be continuing a pin, the ref freezes and stops counting. Don't you dare fucking continue the count.
Are you looking at what's on screen right now?
I am not.
God. Dude, it's ridiculous.
Try and spot the problem here. I wasn't able to figure. Oh no. Keep going, Ree.
No. Oh no. Oh, what the hell? All right. Anyway, back to it.
Wow.
Again, just jumping around.
It looks like everything is wrong with the game.
Yes.
Oh, apparently
from what I'm seeing on the screen.
the Rock's model is awful. The graphics are really bad in some parts. There's stories of people being stuck in the same match with no way to progress for 4.5 hours.
I love these guys just walking up on their knees.
It's like the game's AI is sick, and it's just going
these,
crazy.
These look like collision issues. Honestly, it looks like the game knows okay, the characters need to be at this height when they're on the main floor.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the ground is here. So let's just bend the so since game engines are stupid as fuck. It's like, okay, so if they need to be at this height, but the ground is here, let's just fold their legs up.
Mm-hmm. Because it's like, oh, well, their feet have to be.
The feet have to be.
Who made?
The feet have to be.
Connected to the ground. They're supposed to be here, so just bend it until it works.
Who made this game?
Who the fuck makes the 2K series? That's a very good question. Oh, wait, no. That's amazing. Look at that face.
So basically, the original guy that made the first one. Oh my god.
Happy Halloween.
We broke Jeremy.
That's so funny. I'm sorry. I love wrestling game and UFC game glitches with all of my heart.
No, it just showed who made the game. Snickers made the game. I just saw it.
What?
Brought to you by Snickers.
Look at her eyes.
Look at her fucking eyes. I like that she moves around like C-3PO too. Oh my god.
Oh, all right.
That was.
I mean, it makes you wonder if anybody even from the WWE even looked at the game before it went out.
Big thank you to the YouTube channel Top 10 Wrestling for that.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, that was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. There has been an official response.
Sorry. It's like a one-word sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Who makes the 2K series?
WWE Games.
It's made by what? No, there's no way.
It may not be from the 2K series, Jeremy. Like NBA 2K.
Oh yeah, it's from 2K Games.
Yeah,
it is.
It's 2K.
Yeah, parent organization Take-Two Interactive.
So they lost a lot of staff apparently after the last one. They went off to make their own game, and then they just didn't support the team that made WWE 2K20. And they said, "Hey, you have to have it out by this date," and they had it out by that date.
So have you I know you probably haven't read, but Matt, have you ever played wrestling games before?
Oh yeah.
They're always a little buggy, right?
Yeah.
They never seem to work out exactly how they should. It's usually because they're trying to push them out the door before they're ready. But I've never in my life, and I've played a lot of wrestling games. I've played. It's my guilty pleasure games are wrestling games.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a wrestling game that buggy before.
Mm-hmm.
That was horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
But yeah,
I love it.
I love looking at buggy like I said, buggy wrestling and buggy UFC games are always so fun to watch. That was amazing.
I seriously don't know how that made it to release. It's just mind-boggling.
They were told to have the game ready by then, and they had it ready.
Yeah, that's the problem with mandatory release dates.
Mm-hmm.
Is especially like the WWE games and sport games in general are a microcosm of the licensed game product problem in general. Mm-hmm. Because licensed products usually have a release date. So movie games, this has to be out by the time the movie releases, which means that if there's something wrong, if you can't get the game done in that period of time properly, doesn't matter. The game needs to be out the fucking door. Which, if everything goes smoothly, you might be able to have the game ready to go, and it might be a good game. There are examples of good licensed product games. But if anything goes wrong during that time, you don't get the luxury of, like, well, we're going to delay the game until we fix this obviously game crashing issue. That's what we saw. That's what we saw with, or that's what we're seeing right now with WWE 2K20. Is this ship falling? This ship falling the fuck apart because it needed to be pushed out the door.
I love how the tagline for WWE 2K20 in Twitter says, ESRB rating teen W2K20 available now. Issues? Contact, like, they include the issues. Contact 2K support. Like, anyway, the response from WWE Games is, we are listening closely to the feedback that's been shared regarding WWE 2K20 and are aware of concerns some players are reporting. We are working hard to investigate these concerns and address them as necessary. We expect to have an initial patch ready in the next 2 weeks, with others to follow. Stay tuned to WWE social media games channels for more information.
Oh my god! All right, we gotta move on. We got a couple other things.
Yeah, let's get away from that.
We got a couple other things we gotta look at before we talk about our last big topic. Let's hit the Outer Worlds, and then we'll move on to Fallout 76.
I want to talk about Outer Worlds before we talk about Fallout 76.
It's gonna be better than.
I know. I somehow in my head I mixed it up, and then I started to talk, and then I realized that's exactly what you said, and then I was like, I gotta finish.
Gotta finish.
I gotta finish.
It's gonna be like better than Destiny.
It's different, right? So it's like, if you played Fallout New Vegas and you liked it, you'll like this fucking game.
Yeah, that's like comparing bananas and plantains.
I don't know what that is, Jeremy.
Exactly.
It's Outer Worlds. We got a review thread here on Reddit from user Ninjite, posted as of 4 days ago. We'll look at the basic information. Role-playing FPS science fiction genre. Developers Obsidian Entertainment. Publishers Private Division. I'm assuming that means that they self-published. The review aggregate, the important one is Metacritic. For PS4 and Xbox One, it got an 85. For PC, it got an 82.
I just posted a YouTube link, Jeremy. Can you play like the first 20 seconds of that?
Sure.
I'd love to see some gameplay.
Yeah, that'll show a little bit of that in this.
I'll just have this up on screen while we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Let me mute the...
We'll play the audio at the beginning.
Do you get to choose to play like it's an alien or anything, or is it like human in space?
Human in space. I don't think you get to play
the audio, you said?
An alien. Yeah, play the audio for like the first 20 seconds.
Okay. We just got DMCA'd, by the way.
Probably, yeah.
Thanks, Reed.
I just...
Why are they playing this music?
You'll see. You'll see. That's why. All right.
Oh,
that's hilarious.
From here on out.
Jimquisition. Okay, that's why. Yeah, let's have a look at the review thread, though. Oh shit! I didn't realize that the project leads worked on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. That's cool as shit. But let's go ahead and shit! I just clicked on the wrong thing. Fuck me. I am falling the fuck apart here now because we're trying to do something that I don't normally do to appease Reed.
Do it.
No, I just got it where that's what's happening right now.
Do it now.
We'll start off with Kotaku's review from Gita Jackson. Unscored, The Outer Worlds is so impactful that it made me question and ultimately settle more thoughtfully into my beliefs. What? From Polygon, Cass Marshall, Obsidian has pulled off the delicate task of creating an RPG that feels big while still keeping control of the overall scope of the game itself. Game Informer.
How many hours of gameplay?
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about this game before we may read too many of these reviews.
Okay.
Yeah, how many hours
I've
of
been-
gameplay, Reed?
Me 0.
It's
No, I mean in general, like the game itself. Like how many hours?
Lots. It's an RPG.
Yeah.
It looks like it's not in space.
Let's see. Time to beat the Outer Worlds. There's that website where you can actually. How long to beat Outer Worlds? 24 hours.
Okay.
And that's just like beating the game, not like doing all the side shit. So that's pretty fucking good for an RPG, if you ask me. Like Mass Effect was what, 6 hours if you went straight through it?
Was it that short?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit! I had no idea.
I feel like it was, maybe it was more. No, it was longer. There's another game.
There's no way. It's totally longer than that.
Yeah.
Because the first time I played it through, I like just powered through the main story because I was a dumb kid who was just like, okay, what's the main story? And it took me way longer than that.
Yeah, 17 hours for the main story on Mass Effect. My bad.
No, it looks like a pretty stellar like action RPG. It looks like it very much has that Fallout charm, but actually the Fallout charm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there any of it in outer space?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have a ship?
You go to multiple worlds, and you do have a ship. And
Is there any like space
Mass
combat
Effect,
or anything?
I don't know. As far as I'm aware,
none of us here have played it. I could not tell you.
I've looked into a lot of this game. Most people are talking about the theming of the game and how it plays, and things like that. I think the game, visually, it's been said that it's visually beautiful. However, the textures and things are kind of a little bit maybe on the low end. So it's both visually design wise beautiful, but also kind of like ugly if you kind of look too deep at the details. It's generally forgiven. There's so many different voice lines and dialogue with a lot of the different people. There's multiple ways to solve different issues, like the old Fallout New Vegas, where it's like, and you're given these tasks, and you can solve them in like a number of different ways. Then you can, by looking and sneaking around, you can find new ways that it doesn't tell you how to solve. And there's also really heavy moral choices that are kind of like put on you to in a lot of these. There's a major key running point throughout the rest of this game where it's like, you're often presented two bad choices, right? There's no like good guy option, bad guy option. There's like dick move and other dick move, and it's just like which dick move fits more with your morals.
Yeah, so it's Fallout New Vegas in space.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna cut you off, Reed, because we don't have a ton of time before we need.
Oh shit, you're right. Yes.
So, moving on to a couple more reviews from Game Informer. Author Joe Juba got a 9.3 out of 10. Finding your way through or around various problems is fun, and a silly streak of silly humor keeps the tone light enough to counterbalance the darker themes. From Bloody Discussing, a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's a game that keeps on giving as you can miss so much depending on your choices. In that sense, it's very much got a classic game feel to it. It's a mixture of eras poured into a satirical sci-fi romp, and it's such a joy to experience Outer Worlds. It may not be exactly what I thought it would be, but I'm so glad it turned out to be what it was. Destructoid, our author Chris Carter, 9 out of 10. Despite some nominal issues that may be easier for some to handwave than others, Obsidian has out-Fallouted recent Fallout efforts. The Outer Worlds is more limited from a size standpoint compared to a lot of other open-world adventures, but it makes up for it in charm in a succinct version without much bloat. Yeah. So I think it's safe to say that Outer Worlds is doing much better than some other large name open world RPGs that are out there today.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks Obsidian. Thanks for putting a good game out.
Thanks Obsidian. You guys are always solid, and I'm super excited to play another Obsidian RPG sometime in the near future.
Please, you will here in the near future.
I will in the near future. You're correct. But before
can we just talk more about this instead of talking about the other thing?
No.
Fallout 76 makes me sad, Jeremy.
Yeah, but we would be remiss in our job as kind of journalists to not talk about it.
All right. Using the term job lightly.
Let me get my antacids.
Here, I'll join you in my my own way of coping with my depression.
Y'all are got problems.
Yeah, I do, Reed. I'm well aware of that.
I've got a support group for Fallout 76 that I go to.
Wastelanders Anonymous.
Hi, my name's Matt. I've been playing Fallout 76.
Hi, Matt.
It's so bad, but I can't stop playing it because they tricked me.
So, woo! Fallout 76. So, who here heard of a little thing called Fallout First?
Me.
We talked about it last week. Well, we didn't realize we were talking about it last week because back then they hadn't announced a name. But we covered last week. They were talking about their new update that they were working on, and one of the major things they were talking about releasing was Private Worlds. And at the time, we were all like semi interested in it. One of the things, Matt, I believe you said that actually looks like it would be pretty cool as long as you don't have to pay for it.
Yep. They must have been listening.
They must have been listening.
Like, oh, we can't do anything good for this game. We got a record to uphold.
Because they decided, you know what? Those private worlds, we should charge for it. So we got this here, their actual official announcement for Fallout. Fallout First. Here we go. Private world, scrap boxes, and more come to Fallout 76 with Fallout First. Ever since Fallout 76 launched, we have consistently worked to improve and evolve the experience based on your feedback. That's why we're excited to launch Fallout First, a premium membership that offers something players have been asking for since launch: private worlds for you and select friends. In addition to this huge feature, Fallout First also includes a host of exclusive items and membership bonuses, all of which you can find detailed below. And the best part, Fallout First is available right now. I had like a brief moment where it flashed in my head, because normally when you hear a company say "and the best part," you expect the words "it's free."
Mm-hmm.
And I can't help but feel like somebody in the marketing department knew that's what you expect in your head. And I was like, we'll fucking get them. So looking at everything you're going to get for Fallout First, you're going to get private worlds, which is playing a private world exclusively for you and up to 7 friends. A scrap box and unlimited storage for crafting components in your own new scrap box container. Survival tent, a new placeable fast travel point with a stash, sleeping bag, and more for your basic needs. Atoms, you receive 1,650 atoms per month to use in the Atomic Shop. The Ranger Armor outfit, an iconic Fallout outfit exclusively for members, and an icons and emotes pack. Unique icons and emotes available only to members.
They're still up to the same old shit.
What do you think this amazing package is going to cost you guys?
You know, if I was somebody that was marketing with 2 brain cells, and I said, how much would people be willing to pay for it? I would say $4.99.
$4.99 total?
That's what I was thinking too, Reed.
Yeah, that's what I think. You know, would be a great price point. I think if we put it out there for that price point, people would say, hey, you know what? It costs money, but it's not that bad. It's a good value. I would pay for that.
Especially after all the shit that we've had to put up with from
Exactly,
Fallout
and
76.
it's a good way to like draw people. You know, if I was a real marketing genius, I would fucking say, hey, first month's on us. After that, it's $4.99. Get people back, get them hooked.
What would you charge for a year?
Oh, well, doing a bit of math, I would say, just round down to 10 months. And I would say about $48.
$48 seems pretty reasonable. What do you think Bethesda charges for this?
3 times that much
A little over
for
twice.
a year.
A little over
3 times
twice
that much for a year, I'm guessing.
No, it's 100.
$12.99 a month. And $99.99 a year.
Oh, I thought it was $15 a month. I guess that's not bad.
That's $12.99 still pretty rough.
Yeah, it's still pretty rough.
So
That's a yikes from me, dog.
Still not.
It's $8 a month. It's $8 a month is what it comes out to.
And let's talk about for the private worlds of the scrap box are going to be our main focus for the majority of this, but I want to talk about the other stuff before we do that. So the survival tent. It's a new placeable fast travel point with a stash, sleeping bag, and more for your basic needs. Pretty decent. Like, not something I would pay for, but you know that's a decent thing to get. The atoms, you receive 1,650 atoms per month to use in the atomic shop. Now, I did the research. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know
Doesn't buy a whole lot.
it doesn't buy a whole lot. Atomic shop prices. Let's do prices.
Here's a question. If I have Fallout first and I'm a member and one of my friends isn't, but I have my private server world, whatever, can they still play with me if they're not a Fallout first member?
Yes,
I don't know.
Yes, they can play in your private server without having Fallout first.
I guess if you're all chipping in.
However, if at any point the player who has the private server, or who has Fallout, if at any point in time during like playing in the private server, anybody or nobody in the server has Fallout first. So, for example, say one person bought it and they're playing for a bit and they're like, "Okay, guys, I'm gonna catch you later. I got stuff to do. You guys can keep playing in my private server." And they leave, the entire server shuts down.
I mean, that makes sense.
Ooh.
But I think it was the color blue that I saw. Atomic Shop, color blue.
You could play this game right now for. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted.
No, it's okay. I'm trying to find because there's.
All right. So keep that in mind. Like all this Fallout bullshit, you can play The Outer Worlds right now for $1.
Is that right?
Yeah, $1 for Xbox Game Pass.
It's $1 for Xbox Game Pass.
$1 to start.
Holy shit!
Is it multiplayer?
It's $5 month to month.
Is it multiplayer?
It does not It's a single player RPG.
When are we gonna get a 2-player co-op RPG like that?
I've got Divinity.
Here we go.
Well, I mean, Destiny works that way.
This is what I was looking for.
We can play Destiny tomorrow.
Okay.
The Fallout
I need to get caught
76,
up to you.
The price of blue paint in Fallout, the Atomic Shop for Fallout 76 is 1,800 atoms. You have to pay for 2 months of Fallout 76 or Fallout First to afford blue paint.
Nice.
Wait, so you get 1,600 atoms
1650
every month? You get 1,650 every month?
Yes.
What's the value of the atoms? What's the money equivalent?
I believe it's $1 per 100 atoms.
You get $16 worth of in-game currency.
1650. Let's be fair.
And if you pay for the year subscription, which is $99, that comes out to $8 a month, $8.30 a month.
So $8 for you get like double your money if you okay. So I just realized there's a market for this. There's absolutely a market of people that this is beneficial for.
Yeah.
If you are already spending money in the shop, get this service, and you get more money to spend in the shop than you would if you just bought the money yourself.
from Anvil. Hold on, from Anvil Parachute. Shout out to the #1 white supremacist gaming podcast. Jeremy knows what I'm talking about. We're gonna get fucked up on terms and conditions now.
Thanks a lot, Anvil.
Thanks, Anvil Parachute. You're the best.
Yo, shout out.
No, Reed's right though. Like, why buy in-game currency when you can just buy Fallout first? I wonder if that's a marketing strategy, Reed. Like they're trying to suck you in.
I guess. I mean, so not only do you get more money, but you also you get private servers and whatnot. I mean, either way, what you get for your money is absolutely not worth it in the fucking marketplace. Fallout 76. I mean, like, this is the frustrating thing, right? Because it has such potential. Fallout 76 could be like a fun, like, multiplayer fucking game, but they just keep fucking shooting themselves in the face. Yep. They're not shooting themselves in the foot. They're shooting themselves in the face.
So, it's like they're drunk, and there's like, hey, what do you guys want to do today? Well, I don't know. So it's like they're just making drunk decisions.
Already a bad, like, a bad deal. But that's not where this story ends. People were already, like, memeing. As a matter of fact, they didn't even have the foresight to acquire the falloutfirst.com domain. So, somebody else picked up the Fallout First domain, and I'm going to throw this on the screen for you guys. At the top here is Fallout First. Bethesda was honest, a parody. Private Worlds, Scrap Boxes, more coming to Fallout 76 with Fallout Fuck You First.
Fuck you first.
Ever since Fallout 76 launch, we've consistently done nothing to improve and evolve the experience based on your shitty feedback. That's why we're excited to launch Fallout Fuck You First, a premium ass-pounding membership that offers something dumbass players have been asking for since before launch. Private Worlds for you and select idiot friends. We decided to put it behind a paywall. In addition to this huge feature, Fallout Fuck You First also includes a host of pointless items and cult bonuses, all of which you can find on my foreskin. The best part, Fallout Fuck You First is available to screw you right now. What's included behind the Fallout Fuck You First paywall? Private Worlds, Scrap Boxes, it's just a copy paste of the image. Private Worlds, the shitty community.
I really wish they would have
changed it, yeah.
Yeah.
So they have Private Worlds. The shitty community has been begging for the ability to play alone in Private Worlds since before the launch of Fallout 76.
Did you keep writing content?
Yeah, no, this whole thing, the entire, like...
They should hire this guy.
Announcement is here. I love this.
Whoa, go up. It's...
Where?
The sex tent.
The sex tent. Yeah, that's what I wanted to look at.
That's a play on words.
Drop the new sex tent to quickly set up a forward operating base when you're roughing. Winky face. It's out in the wilderness during your next adventure. The sex tent comes complete with a stash, sleeping bag, scrap box, cooking station, and even an instrument to help you blow hot air up your ass after a day of exploring Appalachia. Once placed, it will also act as a second fast travel point in addition to your main camp, giving you even more freedom to travel anywhere on the map without spending caps. Just your real money. You'll be able to deploy your sex tent from your favorite wheel.
Just your real money. I love it.
The sex tent and scrap box can be used in both public and private worlds by Fallout Fuck You First slaves.
Oh my god.
Slaves! Oh my god.
Yeah, this
what
is
a
amazing.
mad lad.
But yeah! So, that's a thing. But the story gets better because that's just a slight oversight. Forgot to grab a domain. Not the end of the world. And somebody made a parody site. Worse things have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what else they fucked up.
Great, there's more.
There is more. Turns out, the private servers aren't actually private.
Nope.
In the the unofficial but comprehensive bug roundup posted by Reddit user @raw for patch 14, there's a massive list of bugs here, which we could spend the entire episode talking about. But we're going to focus on the worlds, the private server game mode. The issue, multiple reports of new worlds created are not new. Tickets submitted on 10/23/2019. There are a few reports that have got confirmation from a few reputable sources that newly created worlds, when a private world is first selected by a Fallout first player, has dead NPCs, already looted junk, not the timed spawns but clipboards, and other abnormalities that when tested multiple times seems to indicate that these are not new world instances, but reallocated older service instances. Additional research needs to be done, including checking all the workshops, but one of these looted worlds to see if there are any player structures left, but the initial findings are concerning. Second issue, private servers are in no way private. Ticket submitted on 10/23/2019. Without the anonymous mode we begged for, and the fact somewhere along the way temporarily blocking someone on our friends list no longer blocks them from seeing us, anyone on the friends list of a Fallout first player could join. This is problematic for those with large friends lists who are trying to do small organized events, merchants who just want a couple hours of not being pestered by everyone who wants to trade so they can play the game. For a premium membership, this is a non-starter for most. There are multiple reports of initial purchases demanding refunds.
Wait, so how are the servers not private?
So one, they're used worlds.
Yeah, one.
And the other one is that, well, wait. So people can't actually get into private worlds.
No, so without the anonymous mode we beg for, and the fact that somewhere along the way temporarily blocking someone on our friends list no longer blocks them from seeing us, anyone on the friends list of a Fallout first player can join.
Wow.
So
so as long as they're on the friends list of another Fallout first player,
of any Fallout first player, if you're
what?
Okay,
if you are
so if I have Fallout first and you block Matt, and I'm friends with Matt, he can still join you anyway.
Yes, not only that, but if you have Matt on your friends list, and you block Matt can still join your private server.
Fucked.
Can random people that aren't even on your friends list join it?
I don't believe so. I believe that is the.
So it's not friend of a friend.
Yes, it's not friend of a friend.
But if I removed him from my friends list, he can't join anymore.
Correct.
Oh.
Thanks a lot.
So sorry, Matt.
It's okay.
But no Pat though.
But if you got, for example, say you've got like. So for example, let's say you just have like a tendency to, I had a good time working with this guy at one point, so I'm going to add him to my friends list, and then you never talk to the guy again.
Mm-hmm.
And you're playing on your private server and just having a good time playing with friends, and this guy is just kind of trolling through his friends list and goes, I don't remember who this guy is, but he's playing in a private server. I'm going to fuck with him. He could just do that.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, that and the recycled worlds, that's a huge turnoff, because the whole reason one of the big reasons I would want like a private world is to be able to get better loot and stuff like that. A used world, like the vendors have been picked through, like events have already happened, like to where loot's already been dropped, so you're not going to get good stuff.
Kills the whole appeal of like actually having
a fresh world
and
fresh experience.
So that's the issue with the private worlds.
Are they going to fix it? Have they said anything?
We do have a response. We'll cover that in a bit. But we don't. That's not the end of the issues with Fallout First bonuses. Because we also have issues with the scrap boxes. Issue concerning scrap box number 1. Issue scrap boxes are consuming the scrap. Tickets submitted on 10/23/2019. Multiple reports of Fallout First members placing all of their junk in the scrap box and finding it empty when they next log on, and the scrap still isn't there after logging it again. And they've got 3 examples here. Let me see if I can find.
So So speaking from an engineering perspective, I think I know what's happening. They're taking these servers and these worlds, and using them as open worlds for other people that want to join. Then if people come across the shit, they nick the scrap, and then they're fucking out. You know what I mean? And when they come back on, the scrap's gone.
Oh yeah, they're taking it.
Maybe that's my thought.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at it. So, I'm not going to open up the examples because most of them have been deleted now that they've been added to this list. I think people thought because the top comment says, "Hey, I added it to my comprehensive bugs list." I think most of the people were like, "Oh, it's added there, cool." They're gonna get more. It's gonna be more visible there. I'm just gonna delete my section, not realizing that this guy was going to add links. But so moving on, or going further into that issue, this is most frequently occurs when the player either switches worlds to adventure, confirmed, crashes shortly after placing items in the container, confirmed, crashes while in the scrap box while placing junk in the container, confirmed, crashes while switching worlds, and confirmed. Thanks to an unresolved Fallout 76.exe specific bug causing a GPU assignment problem, every server sync with other similar operations occur, my client lags or freezes. There appears to be a sync that occurs about 15 to 30 seconds after you enter your survival camp, and another that occurs shortly after exiting the scrap box. If any of the above conditions occur before or during that sync, the contents of the scrap box will at times be no longer present. That includes opening the friends menu and switching worlds while in the scrap box. Was able to replicate this about 1 out of 20-ish times. Purchased Fallout first around 10 o'clock EST and was able to replicate twice by 10:38 EST. Fix.
This wouldn't even be an issue if they would have just released this as an alpha.
Yeah, if they were testing it. Yeah. Why don't they beta test their games more?
And the last Scrapbox issue is a Scrapboxes from one Fallout First member cannot be accessed by another. Player A is a Fallout First member and places a second camp, and Player B is also a Fallout First member and cannot access his stored junk from Player A's Scrapbox on the private server. PS4 players are mentioning that they are not seeing it, but have multiple reports from PC players. Fix, as of right now, is unknown. And lastly, the issue of Scrapboxes seems to be like fruit in any similar crop. Or scrap boxes seem to like fruit in any similar crop. Reported and confirmed, it appears you can scrap crops in workshop mode. It will end up in the scrap box and in the process lose all condition, which is kind of what we wanted the refrigerator to do.
You know why they didn't release this as an alpha or a beta? Because they wouldn't be able to charge money for an alpha.
It's because they don't get a shit.
But that's fine though, because you get them hooked on the idea, right? To play the alpha, and then when it comes out, they get it. I don't know.
Realistically, I think it's just because they don't give a shit and they're trying to push out these features as quickly as possible.
I mean, I will say this: they're committed to creating content for Fallout 76. I mean,
I made a tire for my car. I made a tire for my Jeep yesterday out of wood.
Yeah.
I can't say it's a good tire, but at least I'm making things for my car.
Yeah. Yes. But I mean, like, look at what happened with Anthem, right? This is kind of a tale of two failed games, right? So Fallout 76 is still doing stuff for it, at least. I don't know.
But yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, you're looking at two turds and being like, this is the less stinky of two turds.
It is the less stinky of two turds.
That doesn't make me want to. That still doesn't make me want to eat it, Reed.
Just lick it. Lick it.
I don't want to. And we got this. You asked if there was a Bethesda response. We've got this information from Polygon.com, author Owen S. Good, titled "Players Say Fallout 76's Subscription Service is Busted. Bethesda Responds." Private worlds aren't that private, and scrap storage vanishes. After publication, a Bethesda representative addressed the three biggest complaints in a statement issued to Polygon below. Let me find.
I'm really interested to hear what they say about recycled worlds. That's just the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Recycled worlds.
In addition, here we go. A Bethesda software representative said in an update to private world settings will be coming soon to allow players to control all access to their private servers. The company also examined the scrapbox and private server recycling issues. For scrap boxes, Bethesda said that a small number of players with a large quantity of scrap are experiencing a display issue, causing their scrap box to appear empty. The studio thinks that this is a UI issue and that players have not lost any scrap. They should still be able to access it when crafting from workbenches as usual. We're actively working to address this issue both internally and using the data and characters folks from the community have provided us, Bethesda said. Regarding recycled servers, Bethesda denied that players are getting used or recycled worlds. When a Fallout First member starts a private world or a dedicated world is launched on an Amazon Web Services server, players who have seen looted containers upon login may be experiencing the expected behavior upon logout and login. Loot is instanced for each player in containers. As Fallout 76 players know, if you loot a container on one server and then log out and log into another server, the container remains in a looted state for a period of time. And as to private worlds privacy, we understand that this is not what players expected for their private worlds, Bethesda said, meaning that anyone in a friends list may join a private server without invitation. We are looking to provide an option in an upcoming patch that will allow Fallout First members to restrict access to their servers more completely. And then we got a second update. Bethesda Game Studios has continued to investigate the Scrapbox issue, as now is acknowledging it is more than a menu display problem for a small number of users. Our initial investigation indicated that this was a display issue and that no items had gone missing, a Bethesda representative told Polygon. However, we have since found that a small number of players have in fact experienced a loss of scrap items after placing them into the scrap box and then loading into a world. Resolving this issue is currently our top priority, the representative said. We are also exploring ways to restore the missing items. Developers are trying to come up with a hotfix to resolve the issue ASAP. So what do you guys have to say about that response?
I guess, I mean, it's just all kind of typical, you know. I see it's a response, but I mean, it really just, there's not enough action, you know.
Yeah.
There's not enough like doing stuff. But I kind of understand if they're trying to do this more passively, right? Because they don't want to like rock the boat right away, but I don't know.
There's comments in the chat about it.
Is there comments in the chat? Let's have a look. From this just said Reed hates fun. Those are awesome. I love what's going on in chat right now. For Boom Shakalaka 8989, looks to me that they're trying to milk the last little money they can before they give up. So sad. Maybe they're just testing shit for Fallout 5 and had given up on Fallout 76. That's an interesting theory.
We're not gonna get Fallout 5, right? Like they're
we're definitely going to see Elder Scrolls well before we see Fallout 5.
Either that or they're going to make another studio do it.
I hope so.
I want to say this directly to Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
The next Elder Scrolls game, Fallout game-esque style game like those that you bring out, make it possible. Give the option for co-op from like the main story and everything.
That's
from
all.
The get-go.
That is all everyone's ever wanted. They wanted to do co-op in a Skyrim or a Fallout game.
And let me say this.
Why can't they just let us have it? It's so simple.
Bethesda, if
it's so simple,
the game Destiny 2 can do it, you can do it. We have the technology. It exists. Just fucking do it.
It's so simple that independent modders have done it.
Yeah. With great trial and tribulation.
With great trial and tribulation, but they also didn't make the fucking game.
Yeah.
They're trying
they exist, and they're
trying
good
to
games.
Reverse engineer the netcode after the game has already been made.
They have to create netcode.
Yeah. Imagine if the game had been made from the ground up with multiplayer. Imagine how good that would be.
Yeah. Imagine. I can only imagine.
I don't think, to address what you're saying, Boom Shakalaka, I don't think they're giving up on Fallout 76.
I think they're making a shit ton of money still on Fallout 76.
Yes, I think they're trying to milk as much money out of it as they can. I think as soon as it stops being lucrative, that's when I think they will stop. But as of right now, they have the fact that it still has a player base shocks me beyond belief. But obviously, someone is still playing it and is still enjoying it.
You just die.
I know.
Sorry.
The controls in this game are garbage. I only included it because
excuses.
I needed to fill out 10 minutes of gameplay. No, for real. Go into the real. Actually, you know what? No. I'm going to prove a point right here, Reed.
No, it's okay. We don't have time.
I'm going to move. No. It's too late. You called me out.
Okay.
You called me out.
So about what we were talking about, I think there's still a player base and people that play this game and enjoy it, because I say at its core, it's got the core of a good game, and I
had a lot of fun playing it because I played it with my friends.
Yeah, I think eventually. So one of two things: one, they're going to run into the ground, or two, they're going to keep adding stuff, and eventually it's going to be a good game.
But I'd also like to say that, like, while playing it, because I played a lot of hours in Fallout 76, and I really enjoyed it. But, like, playing with my friends, like, it was so glitchy, man. Like maybe somebody that's in the chat right now I played with, and they really loved making, like, a really cool camp for themselves.
And then that camp disappeared.
And that camp would disappear. It would break. It wouldn't respawn. Like, it would just like, they put hours of work into it, and then they go and move it, and it just disappears, and everything's gone. Like,
hey, remember?
It's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
remember when your ass got eaten by a house?
Nope.
That was... Yeah, no, it's an issue, and Bethesda seems to really be only interested in paying lip service to the complaints of the community.
Eaten by a house? What are you talking about?
We were I don't remember, like, what we were doing. I think we were just messing around, and you backed up towards a house.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then you're just like, guys, I can't move.
Help me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good
times.
It's just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing to put out a somewhat glitchy game. There's another thing to put out a fucking massively glitchy game, and then keep charging money for it. I don't know.
Not only keep charging money.
Yep.
Not only keep charging money, but introduce more monetization systems without fixing the base issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. As a bit of a palate cleanser and kind of a nice little point to end the podcast on, Jeremy, do you see the link underneath? Outer Worlds?
Yes, I do. Doom 64?
It has been announced.
Let's have a look at it. Ooh. Let's throw that on screen for you boys.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Doom 64.
Ooh. This makes me feel better. This does make me happy.
Man, if only the company that made this could actually, like, make it good. Why can't this company be better than the Bethesda company?
Those little blue floating heads, I had a hard time with those when I played that game. I like that. I really like Brutal Doom, and I understand. Like, I can appreciate, and I always do enjoy playing, like, classic Doom. But Brutal Doom has absolutely spoiled me. I don't know. Have either of you guys played Brutal Doom?
No. Only the original.
It's a mod for classic Doom that adds a lot of, like, newer first-person conventions, like 360-degree movement. The maps are all actually 3D now instead of just, like, fake 3D. But the best part is all of the monsters gib now as well. So it's really cool, and, like, there's blood all over the place. It's really cool, and I'll show you guys later. But
what is this game, by the way? This looks really good.
It's Deadlight, and it's not.
It's like kind of one of those like the Inside Out or whatever. Anyway,
it's pretty. It's pretty. It's atmospheric, and your character controls like a truck.
Okay. I like it. I kind of like this where it's like you're going around doing stuff and there's like shit happening in the background. It just tells a story.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, as far as like if you just like look at the atmospheric storytelling, it looks great, and that's why I picked it to fill out the last 10 minutes of video. But as far as gameplay goes, I was not having a good time playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I'd have an opportunity to look in the background and see stuff, I was like, oh, hey, that's nice. And every once in a while, the background, like, comes and it starts messing with the foreground. and that's really cool. But
what's up with the animations during combat?
That's part of the issue. Is the animations are all really poorly done.
That is a bit jank.
Yeah.
It's got some stanky jank, some janky stank.
But yeah,
the graphics though, I like.
I
the graphics.
think
we are over for time.
Yep. So, thank you guys so much for watching the Not Important Gaming Podcast with Jeremy, Reed, and Matt. You can find us as always here on Twitch every Saturday night at 8:30 Central Time. That is 6:30 Pacific Time. You can also find us on YouTube at youtube.com/notimportantgaming. You can find us on Twitter at GamingImportant. Go ahead and hit us up. Tell us what you think about the podcast. Tell us what you want to talk about. Tell us about how much you hate us. We'll hear it all, or not, but hear us. We will hear it all. We are an open-minded bunch.
Tyler said in the chat that he wants me to buy a Fallout server right now.
Do it. I bet you won't.
Bitch, you won't.
I'll do it, Tyler. I'll fucking do it.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful night.
Love you. Peace. Cheers.